I understand the next call is a split call. Dr. Megan Woods, 5 minutes.
Thank you very much, Mr Speaker. And Mr Speaker, I'm happy to take a call on this bill. And after sitting in the House listening to the speeches, I do want to commend the members of the Transport and Industrial Relations Select Committee. It sounds like a lot of work has been done on this bill to bring this legislation to the House. And as my colleague who spoke before me, Andrew Little, acknowledged, notwithstanding New Zealand First not voting for it at this stage, it sounds like it has been a genuine example of parties across the political divide working together to find a solution for what I'm sure we can all agree is something that we have to find solutions to. We as legislators simply cannot have New Zealanders dying on our roads because we are not putting in place the right legislation in order to send the right messages to New Zealand about what is a safe level of alcohol to consume before getting behind the wheel. Now, other speakers before me have brought to attention that while we support this bill, we do acknowledge that it has taken us a very long time to get here. That this legislation first appeared some time ago. It was kicked to touch by Stephen Joyce in 2010, and this was when it was introduced as a members' bill. From the Honourable Darren Hughes and subsequently taken up by my colleague Ian Lees-Galloway. But this is something that National have not been willing to grasp early enough and do what is needed. So we are pleased that we are here seeing the second reading of this bill and able to do something. Because the fact of the matter, Mr Speaker, is that New Zealand does have, until we pass this legislation, more permissive drink driving laws than evidence-based research would suggest that we should have. The evidence is clearly there, and it's not exactly complicated logic to get you there, that when people drink too much alcohol and they get behind the wheel of a heavy piece of machinery such as a motor vehicle and attempt to drive it, their judgment is impaired and deaths ensue. Other countries have acknowledged that we simply have to lower the thresholds of what we deem to be a safe amount of alcohol to drink. If you look across the Tasman and what the Australians have said is a safe amount of alcohol to drink, we can see that we actually are allowing people to drink far too much and then get behind the wheel. Other people have talked to some of the work that's been done while this bill has been circulating around and while the whole issue has been swirling around, of getting people to actually consume the amount of alcohol that still does deem them safe to drive and under the legal alcohol limits, and then putting them in driving simulators and can see what the results of that are, Mr Speaker, and that is not something that we should condone at all, because the simple fact remains is that there is a huge cost, both on a personal level in terms of the number of lives that are lost and the families that are touched when people do die in car accidents. And we know that many motor vehicle accidents are simply avoidable. That if people hadn't consumed excess alcohol and got behind the wheel of a car, then that they wouldn't have occurred. We know that 3.4 lives could be saved annually and 64 injury crashes avoided. This would save $200 million in social costs over a decade. The evidence is overwhelming that we as a parliament need to bring in the requisite changes, and for this reason Labour is happy to support this bill at the second reading.
I call Julianne Genter, 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. I rise to speak on the second reading of the Land Transport Amendment Bill.